Welcome into the latest episode of the Betting the Pitch Soccer Podcast. I'm your host, real_G Warner. We are 37 and 15, 71% year to date on our best bets, which come end of show. The ultimate best bet. I select my favorite play from each that I'm covering, each of the leagues I'm covering, and then smash them all together in a 1 minute video at the real_G Warner on YouTube and also on Instagram. If you want to listen to the full podcast, please check out patreon.com/the real_G Warner. Just kidding. That's where all my plays are. But if you're looking for the full podcast, check Betting the Pitch wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and on Spotify. Of course, at the real_G Warner on YouTube. And I'm going to tweet this live so everyone knows that we are live. So many sports, so many things going on right now. Did a college basketball podcast for the Final Four with at Big East Ben. That's released at Pregame Now on Twitter or RJ Bell's Dream Preview if you want the full episode. Plus, we did Major League Baseball with Munaf Manji as we're recording twice a week, Mondays and Thursday nights for the Tuesday and Friday card. So plenty of podcasts coming out if you're looking for some content. I want to thank the new YouTube subscribers as well. Thank you to Jason Sheary, also one of my Patreon subscribers. Thank you for support there and on every platform you do. And Julian Cooper, thanks for coming on YouTube as well. We're going to go through on this episode the full Premier League return from the international break after FA Cup quarterfinal action, plus semifinals in Spain, Italy, France, and Germany. So going to be hopefully an action-packed episode with hopefully some winners following along as well. And I do have comments open, so if you have something you'd like to discuss or have me go a little bit deeper, please let me know, and I'll try to do this as quickly as possible. Plus, we'll see how far we can get in this episode. But without further ado, we'll start in the English Premier League, especially because there are matches starting in just a few hours. But with that said, hopefully there's enough time for everyone to get this, listen to it, and potentially put some action. And I know we got some FPL lineups to set as well. So now that I have this tweeted out, I think we will be good to go. And so let me find where my lines are, and then we will get going. So we'll start on Tuesday in the English Premier League, and we'll start with Arsenal hosting Fulham. Pretty big battle in London. Two clubs from there, both looking to, I think, kind of rate their season. Currently, Arsenal 1 goal favorites with all the juice totals 2.25, juice more to the over. Fulham are going to try to play an aggressive possession-based style. It's going to be hard to do on the road at Arsenal, but all you can do is try your best, especially when you're taking on the best club or one of the biggest club valuations in the world. Arsenal are a big favorite, 1 goal favorites, and should be based on their squad value, their ability to play at home. But at this point, I'm just not really a believer in Arsenal. They've sustained so many injuries on what didn't look like a thin roster, to say the least, but has emerged to be thin now as we're now starting this off the month of April. As we go down the stretch, the Premier League title is gone. I guess they're certainly more focused on Real Madrid in Champions League, if I got that draw correctly. And Fulham come in as a 1 goal underdog, bet down from 1.25. So clearly there's some interest from the betting market in England on the road team here. And I lean that way too. I think Fulham are capable of winning this match, or capable of losing by a single goal and getting you a push with the chance at a better result. So I like that side. I also like under 2.25. It's a pretty low total, and I think that reflects the offensive issues that Arsenal have had based on availability. So lean to the underdog and to the under. We'll move next to Wolverhampton Wanderers, 1/4 goal favorites at home to West Ham United. Totals 2.25. Juice more to the under, and tons of juice right now on the road underdog. I'm not really as much a believer in Wolves, though. Pretty much Premier League heading into the international break was saying that they've basically clinched safety. I mean, it's going to be a long way for them to fall into the relegation battle. Requires a lot of wins from really bad teams promoted to the Premier League, but I don't know that we can trust Wolves at this point, especially not as a favorite. So I like Wolverhampton to not have a win at home. So better way to put that is I like West Ham United, a 1/4 goal underdog at home. Though all the juice right now suggests this probably comes back towards Pick'em before kickoff. That's usually a a price I won't really go into unless I really want to be against the home team, which doesn't really feel like the case here. Wolverhampton has a great crowd support and see no reason to potentially just jump on the other side of them. But I'll lean to under 2.25. I think we've seen Graham Potter, the new West Ham United manager, taking over for Julian Lopetegui. He's basically playing under games all the time. So lean under there. And of course, to that road underdog. To the last matchup, the nightcap, if you will, 15 minutes starting time later than the other two we've discussed. Nottingham Forest hosting Manchester United. Currently, Forest a quarter goal favorite at home. All the juice on Manchester United totals 2.5, and it's juiced slightly more to over. I don't trust Manchester United's offense, so it makes a quarter goal underdog on the road feel very, very cheap. And honestly, I'll look for Nottingham Forest to move back towards Pick'em. And that's something I certainly would consider playing, even though they did play FA Cup this weekend. Nottingham Forest have Champions League on their mind, especially after pundits here in the United States, English pundits, were picking them to be relegated. So I don't think that there's any let down, or anything like that from Nottingham Forest. I like them if they move to a pick 'em. For now, I'll lean to Manchester United under 2.5 goals because I don't trust their offense whatsoever. Moving to Wednesday, we'll start with Bournemouth. They're a 1.5 goal favorite to Ipswich Town. Total is 3.25, juice all the way to under, and a lot more juice on the Ipswich underdog here. Bournemouth have not been playing great. Did have Manchester City in the FA Cup quarterfinals this weekend at home, so nice that they could play two straight home games, but Ipswich didn't have to play and certainly are going to do everything they can to stay in the league. I don't think Ipswich Town is at a point where they know they have to win every match, but I think a road result would go a long way to getting them at least some confidence to potentially charge up and eventually catch Wolves. Bournemouth haven't been playing great, have the extra match that they had to play this weekend with a full lineup for pretty much. So those things are concerning. I think for that reason, I'm interested in Ipswich getting the 1.5 goals. And I also like the under 3.25, though Bournemouth have been more of a run scoring, or excuse me, runs with baseball in the background for me, a goal scoring team. So certainly some concern there with playing under and backing an underdog that's certainly not on the same level as Bournemouth. But at this point, I think I'm interested in the underdog here. Moving next to Southampton hosting Crystal Palace. Currently, Southampton a 1 goal underdog at home with all the juice. Totals 2.75, juice slightly more to under. Palace have been great since starting the year really poorly. Southampton are going back to the championship. So certainly St. Mary's has been a great place to back Southampton over the years, but this team is way different than they have been in the past. Nowhere near as competitive, and that's what happens when you go down to the lower divisions and come back up. It's really hard to stay around, and unfortunately, I think Southampton will be trying to find a way to get back to the Premier League a couple years from now. And at this point, I don't know that I want much to do with Southampton at home. The full goal of insurance on a home underdog is certainly priced where I'd want it to be, but it's probably not close to making my card. I'll lean to under 2.75 back in the Crystal Palace defense. The problem is Southampton, they've made so many mistakes this year, and that's why they're getting relegated. Their new manager has come in and stabilized things, but there's still a lot of issues there. Losing at home to Wolverhampton Wanderers heading into the international break wasn't great. But there haven't been many good results for Southampton at all this season. We'll move next to Brighton and Hove Albion. They're hosting Aston Villa. Both these clubs played, I think, on Sunday in the FA Cup. Brighton a quarter goal favorite with all the juice. Total is 3, juiced almost all the way to under. Brighton have been getting a fair amount of respect. No difference here. Aston Villa, seeing them as a road underdog, is saying something considering their Champions League success, qualifying last season and advancing and still being alive in the quarterfinals. But Brighton have been playing well. I just feel like as a favorite, they've reached a valuation I think is too high. So I'll lean to Aston Villa getting a quarter of a goal. We'll see what their lineup looks like, and with injury concerns with Ollie Watkins, their star striker, especially after moving on the backup to Saudi Arabia, I think, in the January transfer window. We'll see what that all looks like. Both of those things, I think, point towards under as well here. And I don't think either of these teams are as aggressive as previous managers have been, especially not Roberto De Zerbi, no longer at Brighton. Manchester City, a 2 goal favorite to Leicester City in the next matchup. Totals 3.5, juice more to the under and more juice on the Leicester underdog. Leicester are interesting to me just based on 2 goals of insurance, but away from home is very scary, and their inability to defend also scary. Probably one I skip, even though Manchester City played that extra FA Cup match this weekend. Well, next we'll move to Newcastle, 3/4 goal favorites to Brentford. A little more juice on the Brentford side, totals 3.25, juice a little bit more to over. Now Brentford completely changed their season around, went from only winning home matches, losing every road match, to then winning all these road matches in a row. I don't know if I believe that to continue, but it's been a great run, and there's some insurance here. I lean to the 3/4 of a goal underdog. I'll probably be more interested in a +1 if we get there, though juice certainly doesn't indicate that. Totals at 3.25, and I think that reflects Brentford being a goal scoring team. I don't know how they do it. They find it from low XG opportunities. Set pieces are great for them. We'll see if that ends up continuing. But I think at this point, it's probably not an angle I'd like to go. Last on Wednesday, we have a Merseyside derby with hopefully this one doesn't get postponed. We got Liverpool 1.25 goal favorite with all the juice. Total is 2.75, excuse me, just all the way to under. Everton are going to go in and defend like crazy. I think we saw a high scoring match in the first leg, played on like a random Wednesday, I think, while the Champions League was going on. And Everton were able to steal a late result with a late equalizer in a 2-2 match. I don't think we'll see anywhere near that 4 goals being scored. So I'll lean to Everton. I do like getting more than a goal in a very important rivalry match. Anfield will be tough and certainly will be ready to go for Everton coming in. I think I'm more interested in under 2.75 for my best bet in that one. Moving to Thursday, lone match. We have Chelsea hosting Tottenham. Currently, Chelsea a 1 goal favorite. All the juice on Tottenham Hotspur. Total is 3.5, and it is juiced slightly more to under. I don't trust the defenses from either side in this one. So Joe Dollar, here's your overplay of the English Premier League section of this show. Tottenham is a 1 goal underdog, though seems pretty large considering my questions about Chelsea's defense and honestly about Chelsea's offense as well. You could certainly ask plenty of questions about Tottenham as well. I just don't know that Chelsea, they're really built to take advantage of the Tottenham side. I feel like they're not a defensive team that aren't going to counterattack. And I think that Tottenham's been playing a little bit differently, a little bit more pragmatically towards the latter half of the season. They still have Europa League going on, and I think Chelsea still have Conference League. So there's some other focuses here, but ultimately I think Premier League is still the most important. Trying to get in a Champions League place, it does feel like those ambitions are a little bit further beyond the ability. So Tottenham the full goal of insurance, though, is enough interest for me in that one. As for my best bet on this English Premier League section of the show, I'm going to go with that Everton under 2.75 goals on the road at Liverpool. I think that's got a good chance of seeing a low scoring match, especially with a road team coming in that's not going to look to score many goals. We'll move now to Spanish Copa del Rey. I want to make sure I updated these lines from last night. I think I did that, but before I refresh anything away to check on some line movement, I think I'm okay there. Let's see if I did because we do have 2 advanced numbers here as well, which I have not updated, so I'm glad I did not do anything with this just yet. Okay, so this is from last night, so that's the 31st of March. Okay, so let's see. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's get into the Spanish Copa del Rey. So, refresh this. We'll start with Real Sociedad. They are, as I wear their, it's not a kit technically, but it's some sort of gift shop or team shop shirt that I got when I was in San Sebastian a couple years ago. I think it was my first trip out after COVID, if I'm not mistaken. But Real Madrid currently 1.25 goal favorites, up 1-0 on aggregate to Real Sociedad from a good performance away that did not cover the spread on the home underdog Real Sociedad, but did hit under. Total is 3, juice all the way to under in this one, and it probably should be that way. In terms of 2 advanced numbers, we have Real Sociedad plus 925 versus Real Madrid minus 2,000. So $2,000 to win 100 if you're backing Real Madrid to advance. Nearly 10-1 odds on Real Sociedad. So certainly, if you are looking to make some money here, picking Real Sociedad to go win the match in regulation on the road at the Bernabeu in Madrid, and then hanging on and either winning by enough in regulation, winning in a extra time period, or in a shootout. Certainly possible, but I would not say probable. Certainly, the odds makers don't think that as well. I think we've seen some movement come in or some money come in on the Real Sociedad side. It's changing juice a little bit. Definitely a lot on the under. I'm not surprised by that, but I feel like Real Sociedad, they're going to try to control the game and have been competitive against the bigger clubs in Spain, but really hasn't been great, honestly, for Real Sociedad playing against this club, for example, in Real Madrid. Their success has been at home. It's really not been away from home. They've certainly not played as intently. Like speaking of their lineup rotation when they went to Barcelona earlier this year. Copa del Rey does mean something to them, especially after being eliminated in the Europa League after many penalties given away on the road at Manchester United a couple weeks ago. I think from Real Sociedad perspective, they're going to try to stay in this by possessing the ball and keeping it away from Real Madrid. I think Real Madrid with a lead will be okay with that. So I think that does point towards under. And I really do like seeing the full push available on three. So I'm interested there. I lean, I guess, also to the 1.25 goals, especially because Real Sociedad need to win. If they lose by a single goal, you're covering the spread. Real Madrid are celebrating their advance and probably not pushing for extra goals. Though certainly the empty net type situations and the but that honestly would be Real Sociedad from a drawing perspective. If they send a goalkeeper up late in the match, that's because they're trying to get a goal to end up winning the leg and forcing extra time. So that does not really damage the interest in Real Sociedad plus a goal and a quarter. So lean to the under three as I expect a low scoring match. I think Real Sociedad are going to try to control the ball, try to defend their net, and Real Madrid are going to be more than okay with giving Real Sociedad possession and just trying to keep them from scoring and equalizing the tie. Don't have much interest in the two advanced number, but all those things move together. That is a Tuesday match. We'll then move to Wednesday. Atletico Madrid and Barcelona playing one of the wildest Copa del Rey first legs, which ended equal, I believe, 4-4 after 2-0. Atletico Madrid 4-2. Barcelona then tied 4-4, if memory serves. Now Atleti are a quarter goal underdog at home with all the juice. Total is 3, juice all the way to under. To advanced number, Barcelona minus 145, Atletico Madrid plus 120. I am invested in this one. I did back both under and Atleti in the first leg, plus Atleti to advance, and got pretty much what I was hoping for. I mean, I guess wanted to win everything and be in a much better position to advance. But I got a better price than what's available now. I guess from 2-0 ahead, certainly the under was in danger there, but felt like Atleti was in really great position to advance numbers, especially and to cover the spread that day, but ended up getting the all-important equalizer late to draw, which I guess after falling behind 4-2, certainly would have taken. I think Atleti, I mean, the penalty shootout with Real Madrid in Champions League, kicking the ball off themselves, was brutal, and I think was the fifth penalty shootout I've lost consecutively with underdogs, which is eventually the luck will turn, apparently, but it certainly has not happened yet, and especially that one was tough being at home. But I think that also sets up Atleti for this matchup here, where they're in much better position, I think, to handle Barcelona and what they're going to bring. I think we can see Atleti win this match. I think as a home underdog, that's going to be very hard for me to avoid. The under 3 is a little bit more difficult to want to get into, though I expect it to be this match to be played in a style like Atleti want to play it, and as opposed to Barcelona trying to score the whole time. Though Barca have shown that they're going to play that high line and they're not going to really leave that behind. So that's going to be a big question, is kind of how many goals will be scored. Certainly could see a wide range of outcomes in terms of goal being scored after 8 were scored in the first leg here. But I also still, if you're not on Atleti to advance plus 120, I think that's interesting as well. I think I prefer the quarter goal underdog to that plus 120, but I'm interested there if you don't have it. I think they finally get some revenge or do a little bit better at home in a home leg in an elimination tie, especially entering from a better position than they were against Real Madrid even just a few weeks ago in Champions League. For my best bet from the Spanish portion of the show and the Copa del Rey, I will go with Atletico Madrid, a quarter goal underdog to Barcelona, as I think that is my favorite portion of what I just discussed. Let me check on and see if there's any quotes coming in here or comments coming in that I might have missed. Feel free to throw them in here. They are available, but I will head back to the Coppa Italia in Italy as the next portion of the show. Some big surprises, I think, based on who's just playing in this level of the tournament. Incredible run from Empoli, knocking out Juventus with late goals, and then incredible to stun them. I think kind of speaks to how poorly the season has gone for Juventus, plus potentially seeing some improvement from Empoli, though they've been a big surprise, I think, in all levels of competitions, especially getting this level of the Copa del Rey. So we'll start on Tuesday with today, a couple hours from kickoff. Empoli, 3/4 goal underdogs at home to Bologna. Almost all the juice on Bologna away. Total is 2.25, juiced all the way to under. So we've seen a little bit of money coming in on Bologna overnight. Certainly some money coming in on under. I don't expect many goals to be scored. The two advanced number, Empoli plus 610. 10 to advance. So that number has climbed pretty significantly overnight, actually from plus 445, which was actually the number that they played against Juventus on the road in a one-legged tie. So certainly two legs will make the better team stand out over more time, so less likely for an upset. But the price is big. We've already seen it climb nearly 50% on Bologna today. So I wonder what Empoli lineup suggests, or potentially some injuries or absentees that might impact this one. With that said, Empoli is a home underdog of interest to me. Bologna have certainly improved how they performed from early in the season, qualified for Champions League last year, and then lost pretty much all their talent and their manager. So it's been an adjustment period, and they've been improving as of late. With that said, I think Empoli are going to play a brand of football at home, and their crowd's going to be into this. I do have some concerns that they're not yet safe in Serie A, and I have some concern about that competition. But I mean, how often will Empoli be in a Coppa Italia semifinal? I don't think they'll risk their situation in staying in the top division in Italy, because that's the most important thing. But it's hard to see them not playing their best for this matchup. So with that said, I'm interested in Empoli, especially because I think there's a non-zero chance that Bologna are very happy away from home to get a result and not push extremely hard to win this match and not win by multiple goals. So Empoli, 3/4 of goal underdog. I'll also lean to under 2.25. Would love to see this climb to a full goal of insurance. We'll be waiting for that. I don't know that I want as much to do with Empoli, the two advanced number, because unfortunately the second leg away would put them as a big underdog, even with a lead heading into the second leg. We'll move to Wednesday, Coppa Italia. We have AC Milan and Inter Milan, San Siro twice, two times. Should be an awesome series. And AC Milan have gotten the better of Inter so far in the season, though certainly I don't think the play has deserved it. In terms of the line for this one, AC Milan quarter goal underdogs at home, when they will have the tickets for their fan base. And the I think the Curva Sud is the AC Milan side. I don't know. I did go to San Siro for both of these matches. I think I sat in the wrong section both times. But regardless, total on this one's 2.75. She's almost all the way to under, and not a lot of goals being expected, though Milan's defense has certainly been much more porous, I think, than anyone would have wanted. Two advanced number, Milan 2-1 odds versus Inter Milan minus 255, so 255 US to win 100 to advance. That line has not moved yet, but we'll see probably some movement coming in on Wednesday. AC Milan as a home underdog, you got to look to them, especially because they've had such success in this competition. Or excuse me, not in this competition. They had success in Serie A, and it kept Paulo Fonseca's job earlier this season with their win in this Milan derby, Derby della Lanterna, I want to say. And then in the Supercoppa in Saudi Arabia, Milan also came from behind to stun Inter. So surprised to say the least about that happening. It doesn't feel like it's deserved, really, based on how these teams have played this year. But it's hard to argue about the home underdog, especially with the same thing I just said, is that Inter being against the crowd in their home stadium may not be pushing as hard to win here. I think they'll be trying to just stay in a good position, of course. And if AC Milan are not able to beat Inter Milan at home, that'll put them in a much more difficult situation for the second leg against an Inter crowd. Also hard to say. I mean, because if it's not just crowd thing, it's actually about the location and the pitch and all those sort of things. I mean, lot to be said about kind of how to pick this one. But I think probably and Inter, I think their defense has been so good. That's probably my biggest interest in this first leg, is to see under 2.75. So I'll put that on my list as my best bet. Not really interested in Milan, the AC version, as the two advanced number here in the Coppa Italia semifinals. I'll move next to the French Coupe de France. It's less interesting to me, to say the least, as there are two lower tier sides against Ligue 1 staples, though Stade Reims we'll get to on Wednesday. They are certainly in much different position and are actually in very big danger of potentially losing their position in Liga. We'll start with Dunkirk, though. 2.25 goal underdogs at home to PSG. Totals 3.5, and the juice is split. I don't think this is two legs, so this is all for nothing, all for the Dunkirk Ligue 2 side, who are trying to climb into the top division in France, but also are trying to win a Coupe de France, and did cover behind their last level or in the quarterfinals of this competition. I believe it was against Stade Brestois, Champions League side, and came from behind to win. Also survived Lille, equalized late, and then won a penalty shootout from on the brink. So it's been a pretty good run. Unfortunately, Dunkirk are running into PSG, who are like the best club in France for sure, and one of the best still alive in Champions League after knocking out Liverpool away from home on the second leg. Pretty incredible run for PSG there. I think I lean to Dunkirk as a big underdog, but they're just going to try to hang in this match as long as possible, and that is a scary thing to think about. Moving to Wednesday, we'll move to Cannes. My mom pronounces it wrong, so it sticks in my mind. To Cannes, 1 goal underdogs at home with all the juice to Stade de Reims. Total is 2.5, and it's juiced pretty heavily to under. I lean to the home underdog here because Reims have a lot of focus on staying in the Ligue 1 in France. We've heard post-game interviews about how disappointed Nakamura, one of their Japanese strikers or attackers, who literally looks so despondent after each match, it seems. So I like the full goal of insurance on the home underdog, though can being a lower level does definitely concerns me. I think under 2.5 is probably my bigger interest in that Wednesday matchup. So that's what I'll choose as my best bet for the Coupe de France. And last but not least, we'll go into the German DFB Pokal. Also, make sure there's semifinals here as well. These are one-legged ties, and they're being played in the home venues of one third-tier Bundesliga side, 1, 2, 3, Liga, I believe, in Germany, if my German is correct. Forgive me if I'm not right, as it is definitely not my first language. Okay, refreshing lines here. Okay, so we'll start with Arminia Bielefeld. They are hosting Bayer Leverkusen, who have had a terrible season based on lofty standards, but I think that's also a reference to how well and how much they overperformed in their Meisterschale and long unbeaten streak in 2024 or 2023-24. Arminia Bielefeld, they had been the German Bundesliga, the Oberhausen, a couple seasons ago, and have fallen all the way to third tier, but have been knocking out Bundesliga sides left and right to get to this point in the DFB Pokal. Currently, Bielefeld, a 1 3/4 goal underdog at home with more juice on Bayer Leverkusen, totals 3 1/4, juice all the way to under. I think we see a cup tie as you expect. And in Germany, we see the lower rated team play as defensively as possible. And I feel like Leverkusen, they have, of course, a huge talent advantage, but I really question what Xabi Alonso has done this season. I don't think he's made a lot of good decisions. He's kind of gotten bailed out, but getting results and covering spreads when you're needing to win matches certainly will pay off a gambler, which who am I to complain about that? But I just feel like there's a lot of limitations in him, and I feel like he should have jumped from Bayern Munich when it was open last season, but instead Vincent Kompany did, and we'll see how long Xabi Alonso even stays at Bayer Leverkusen. We'll see. But Bielefeld have been awesome. I just a little bit afraid of jumping in now after leaning to back them against Werder Bremen, after watching them really just do whatever they wanted with Sport Club Freiburg, another top division side in Germany a couple rounds ago. But I hadn't made or pulled the trigger, and so that's a scary thing for me is to try to get in now. I will say though that if I got to play something, that's probably where I'm looking. Is both to Arminia Bielefeld and also to the under 3 1/4. Those will be my leans, and that's probably what I'll be struggling over the next few hours to trying to figure out how much I want to get invested in this matchup. But lean to the home underdog and lean to under 3 1/4. Probably more safety in a lopsided loss. In the under because you got a couple extra goals to play with. I think if you're playing the Armenia side, Armenia Bielefeld side, you'd want to play, if you believe they're going to score goals, you want to play the underdog as opposed to the under. But I think Bayer Leverkusen's defense has been pretty lackadaisical. I think they will be as focused as they can be, as this is their best chance at and only real chance at silverware to finish the season. And they're in great shape against a Schweizerliga side. Or excuse me, a Dreisliga side. Moving to Wednesday, or excuse me, the two advanced numbers: Arminia Bielefeld 7-1 odds compared to Leverkusen 1-11. I don't really see a big upset though. The home underdog, you could certainly see some crazy things, and Leverkusen have not been at all scary and a sure thing to advance. Last but not least on this podcast, and we'll get to Ultimate Best Bet. Thank you for hanging around, and I'll check for any comments coming end of show. But VfS Stuttgart, quarter goal favorites with all the juice at home to RB Leipzig. Total is 3 in this one, and it's juice a little bit more to under than to over, just a couple cents. Two advanced numbers: Stuttgart minus 160 to Leipzig plus 130. Let's see if I can get to that and see if we've seen any movement from the futures. Okay, so we've seen Bielefeld. What did I just do there? How did I lose that? Okay, we've seen Bielefeld. Uh, Not, I guess. Well, actually, it seems like they've just moved the number a little bit, made for a little bit less of handle as Leverkusen have come down about 8% and Bielefeld have climbed 2%. Usually they go in the same direction. So that's interesting. No movement so far on the to advance number on Stuttgart and Leipzig. So minus 160 for Stuttgart, 160 to win 100. Leipzig plus 130. So $100 US will win you 130 if you bet them to advance. Leipzig have been a really bad road team for years, but they've really just been great at home. And I think that's been a big kind of explanatory factor. Hasn't really been that way this year, and they've really struggled. Were horrible in Champions League and have been really bad compared to their standards in the German Bundesliga. And now they go on the road to a Stuttgart side who really haven't been playing great after finishing a surprise second in the German Bundesliga last season, qualifying for Champions League. You could probably look to that as a reason for those things not going so well this year. But I think Sebastian Hoeneß and his success rate has been disappointing this year. We'll see if that turns around. I imagine he will still be in the job heading into 2025, 2026. But with that said, I think Stuttgart are going to have a big crowd behind them. That's going to be really important. But I feel like they look a little bit expensive to me here. Leading to Leipzig, getting the quarter of a goal, and I think under 3 is another perfect example of a cup tie where you see two teams trying to play as conservatively as possible, not trying to concede, but also trying to not take as many chances to score that first goal for the fear of conceding. So under 3, I think, is my biggest interest in that second, I guess, of the DFB Pokal semifinals. And that gets us to the end of this show. But stick around for the ultimate best bet as that's coming. I'll show some comments from my guy, Joe Dollar. Thank you for joining. We got Leverkusen win to 0. That is an interesting choice. I don't see that on BetOnline at the moment. But that, I think, is trusting a Leverkusen defense that I'm not really someone who is a believer in, I must say. I was told this was the F1 podcast. Yes, Joe Dollar, happy to report that we'll be back with Roscoe Poop Scooper. What a name. What a Twitter handle. Can't believe I'm still saying it and it's still in my mind. We should be returning tonight. Just making sure that Angel is available, as I know she's got some work travel. But we should be back. F1 on this channel, betting the pitch. Now we're extending into auto racing or whatever. I need to probably, I guess, get more secure with how I say these things. But F1 will be back tonight as we break down what time. I think we'll be doing probably 8, 9 Central. So probably we'll have the podcast up before you tuck all the Joe Dollar household into bed, Joe Dollar. Yo. Thank you for starting. And then that's all the comments that I have in here. Thank you, Joe Dollar, for throwing 4 at me. I appreciate that. The interaction is great. Maybe tomorrow, I guess I need to broadcast these things, and maybe we could broadcast live. I just think that will ultimately complicate the recording with Zoom because I think that would throw everything off. But we'll see if there's a way to do a live version of F1. That might be something I need to figure out as we get further. But thanks, Joe, for coming in, loyal and longtime Patreon subscriber. Your support has been very important and keeping me afloat. Thank you for that. If any of you would like to join Patreon, patreon.com/real_G Warner, best spot to get all my plays, leans, write-ups across all sports, including a decent college basketball March Madness. I feel like if we had some buzzer beaters go the correct direction instead of 2 going wrong ways, we probably would be right around positive, but we're about even, and we'll be heading down to San Antonio later this week for the Final Four. Anyone there, please holler for a Joe Dollar, if you will. And then, of course, as I already mentioned at the beginning of the show, pregame.com baseball podcast with Off Manji is out for the Tuesday card. If you're looking to get 6 hours or so till the slate starts there. College basketball with Big East Ben, also covering the Final Four. That is out, and we should have a Final Four episode live from San Antonio or recorded from San Antonio after the Saturday version of events with all 4 number 1 seeds. All favorites getting through. Yeah, unfortunately, my bracket was doing really well until I finally decided to not be on the favorites train, and that now I'm going to be focused on next year. Good for me, good for them, and let's get into our ultimate best bet. So what I do every show, as you might know, is I go through each of the leagues that I'm covering, and I try to come up with an ultimate best bet, which smashes them all together and combines it all into a 1-minute video. So let's get into it. Hey, this is Real underscore G Warner on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, and on YouTube. This is the ultimate best bet portion of the Betting the Pitch podcast. We're 37 and 15, 71% on our best bets year to date. I go through the top 5 European soccer leagues, any matches that are going on. This week, we have a lot of cup action plus a full English Premier League slate. I pick my favorite best bet from all the games, and then I put them up on Instagram at the Real underscore G Warner and also on YouTube at the same at the Real underscore G Warner. For this episode from the English Premier League, I like Everton under 2 3/4 goals. From the Copa del Rey in Spain, I like Atletico Madrid quarter goal underdog. In Coppa Italia, I like AC Milan under 2 3/4 goals. In the Coupe de France, I like Cannes under 2.5 goals. And in the DFB Pokal in Germany, I like RB Leipzig under 3. But for the ultimate best bet on this episode, I'm going to go Atletico Madrid, a quarter goal underdog at home, second leg of the Copa del Rey. I think there's a good chance this goes to extra time, which is a winner on the home underdog with a draw. But I think there's also a good chance that Atleti will win this match. I think they are the better side, superior defense than at the Barcelona visitors. And that'll do it for this episode. Thank you for tuning in, especially for all the comments from Joe Dollar. We'll see you guys next time. And of course, feel free to subscribe, Betting the Pitch on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. Also subscribe to Patreon, patreon.com/the real underscore G Warner.